Forestieri. Here's Hulk. Deeney! Reina. Haaland. Oh, that left foot. What about that? Stupendous strike.
Sup guys, it's Black and Yellow Fan TV here, back again with another football video. Well, actually it's my first video on this channel. Well, actually it isn't, because I made another video before, but it got copyright striked, so nobody could see it. But so, I guess it's my first video. But anyways, face reveal at 69 subs. Now let's get right into the video. So anyways, today's video is our Premier League predictions for next season, and also the Golden Boot predictions. So
Well, first of all, my name is Mason.
oh yeah, I forgot you were there.
Thank you. And I'm showing my predictions on the screen, and then Daniel would, of course, react and then say his prediction as well. So we start with 20th. I put Aston Villa.
Yeah, fair enough. I put Aston Villa as well. I don't like them.
Their star players, I said their star players, whether he's going to stay or not.
Yeah, they're just carried by Grealish. Like they're not even a good team. I'm sorry, like you should have gone down.
Not.
No, you should have gone down.
And this is the thing, they were 1 point from the relegation zone. That's the thing.
The only reason I went down is because Watford bottled it. That's the only reason why. And because Arsenal hit the post from a header. If that goal went in, they would be down. If the post counts a goal, they would be down. 21 losses in 38 games. So they lost 55% of all matches this season. 55%. That's more than half. Like, let's say you got paper.
Yes, I know that. I do know it's more than half.
Rip it in half. And then if you rip it in half, then it's more than a half. Like, that's just insane. They conceded 67 goals this season, which are only 2 better than Norwich.
That isn't very good. You're correct. That's not very good.
It's poor. Another reason they say that is because VAR. Do you remember the Sheffield game at the start of the right?
Uh-huh.
When Sheffield scored, like it was in the back of the net. It passed the line, but then it didn't count. If that counted, they would got 0 points from the game, so they would be in the same points as Watford, and then that would push Watford more to have got maybe a draw from like Arsenal, and then they would have gone up. That's what I think. So yeah, I hate
Who have you put as 19?
I put you first because you already said it.
Okay, West Brom.
That's fair. I actually put West Brom as well.
Okay, fair enough.
Alright, so
I couldn't name a star player. I don't know much about the squad. They're second place in the English Football League.
so yeah, what I think is they're like their team who consistently get promoted and they just go back down again. Like that's just like
I think that they were in the Premier League for a long while.
well in the 2017-18 season they finished last with 31 points. Just want to point it out. They're not really an expert at staying up.
Yeah.
And like you might say like in the championship they did well with 83 points and 22 wins. But if you think about it, there's 46 games in the championship. So then they won less than half, and it doesn't sound that great then if you put it that way. And it's the championship. Imagine playing the championship and losing less than half your games, and you're thinking you're really good. I mean, it's the championship. And if you look at their recent form as well, like they've been pretty poor. Like in 10 games, they've only won 3, drawn 5, and lost 3. If you like base it how good they are, just in the recent performances, they're basically an average championship side.
Yeah.
Like they've done decent championship, but in the Prem, I just think they'll be like Norwich this season. They just went there.
18th.
So in 18th, I put Brighton in 18th.
Really?
Yeah. So like they did pretty well this season. Stay up.
Yeah.
Only won 9 out of 38 Premier League games.
Wow.
Like they've won
They've
won the same amount of games as Bournemouth, and they've gone down.
Yeah.
And like until quarantine, they hadn't had a single Premier League win this whole year. And then they beat Arsenal, of course, which I'm sure you remember.
I think Fulham will go down because usually the championship playoff team that would have won the playoffs would usually go down. And I don't know if Fulham's going to survive. And if they were to survive, it's going to be on the last day.
So I think Brighton's best players are like Neil Maupay. I do like Maupay.
Maupay, you're an absolute disgrace. You're a cheat. I hope Brighton get relegated.
Trossard and Matty Ryan. But I just don't think they're just good enough to stay up, in my opinion.
17th place.
Sorry, Willie.
Brighton.
Fair enough.
Who have you put?
I put Newcastle. Okay, so you might think I'm a bit harsh here, but the takeover broke down.
Yeah.
I'm fucking pissed. I tell you, I'm genuinely fuming. And you know what the weird thing is, right? I knew that this was going to happen because I've fucking been here before. Fuck the Premier League.
It's not going to be good for them because they're
Yeah.
because their current right now, right, their attacking force is their main thing going for them. We'll say Maximan, Almiron, Matt Ritchie, but like even that, they only managed 38 goals this season, which is the fourth worst in the league. So it isn't even with those best players, that isn't even that good. And then
I think the Brighton will just survive.
And they're gonna leave as well. They're gonna leave. I think Maximan's leaving. So then what's the goals gonna go down to? Like 20 goals a season for the whole like team? And like they even lost 2-1 to Watford due to poor defending. And like if you look at it this way as well, in defence they haven't been great either because Dubravka has had to make 140 saves this season, which is the most of any goalkeeper. So then they're facing the most amount of shots, right? So then what's the defence doing? So they have like even right now the defence is that great because they're facing so many shots. And their attack is not even that great and it's gonna get worse. So, they're probably gonna have the best season next season. 16th, right?
Newcastle.
I put Fulham in 16th.
Fair enough.
So Fulham came.
I think the same reason for you is for Newcastle for me. Because of the takeover breaking down, I feel like the players won't be up for it. I feel like the players probably don't like the owners now. It's getting to the point.
Yeah.
Mike Ashley is just greedy and he does it for his company.
No, listen, I wouldn't say this is Mike Ashley's fault. It's like many of the Premier League's fault for not making the decision. Because like Mike Ashley, he agreed to do the takeover. Like it was all settled, right? But the Premier League didn't allow it for 2 months, and then they just gave up, broke down because they didn't say anything.
I think that I've been quite annoyed at Premier League recently for a number of reasons, but I don't really know if we can blame the Premier League for this. Because overall, the reason why Newcastle went down to the Championship and then went back up and all that is because of Mike Ashley. Because he cares more about his company, Sports Direct, than the football club he owns. The same with Kroenke at Arsenal. He cares more about his American football team in America than his Arsenal football club. And if he honestly liked the club, he would leave. Same with Mike Ashley and same with Kroenke. He would just leave.
To be honest, like Matt Ashley was planning to leave. So.
Well, he was, and
I mean,
not because he broke down with some other companies. He could have got someone else.
So like Fulham, they have like good players like Bryant, who of course scored those 2 goals to gain them promotion, and Mitrovic, who is a good striker. The form is really good though. Like how I like to think it right is how teams form at the end of the season. It just shows like sometimes how they're going to form the start of next season if they carry on that form.
Yeah, I agree.
Because in the last 10 games, they got 8 wins in the last 10 games. So that's pretty good. Because if you look at like recent form, it's so much better than West Brom. So that's why I think they're going to stay up.
I do agree with you that because of the fact that it's so close between now and next season.
Yeah.
I do think you're right, 110% right, that your form at the end of a season does sort of carry on to the first few games of the next season.
It's like a pre-season.
15th place, I put West Ham.
Yes, Sam. Fair enough.
They've been poor this season. Really, really poor. 5 points from relegation. They could have had a 60,000 seated stadium in the Championship.
Oh God, yeah. Like I really wanted Watford to win against West Ham. The first half was shambolic, and then again against Arsenal, first half awful. It was poor. It was poor, man.
Who did you put in 15th?
Oh, I've actually put Leeds in 15th. It was clear like this season they've been the best Championship team. Like it's not even close. Like they got 93 points with a goal difference of 42. Like they were 10 points clear of the second place, West Brom, and they'd won every single games from 6 games in July. And like it's not just like they won. Like they thrashed some teams. They beat Stoke City 5-0. They beat Charlton 4-0. They beat 3-1 over Wayne Rooney's team, and even beat Swansea City. Swansea. Let us think. It's clear they're really good in the Championship, but the key word is Championship. You see, they haven't had much experience recently in the Premier League. It's different.
Sheffield United.
Well, yeah, but there's a massive difference between like beating.
No, it's not.
Well, the thing is, Sheffield United, right? Well, I don't know. Sheffield United, they have a good manager. Well, Bielsa as well. I don't know. I just think.
But did you know Chris Wilder before he came into the Premier League?
No, I didn't know he was.
Exactly.
Okay, well, to be honest, though, Sheffield United overperformed. It's not like that's what you expect a championship side to just go in and do that. They overperformed. They did really well. I don't want to predict a team to just do well on a pure, the new team is going to do really well. I have to look at why they're going to do well, because I won't get all these right. I'll get some, there'll be some teams who massively underperform. There'll be a team who massively overperforms. There'll be a player who massively overperforms. There'll probably be a Golden Boot contender who we've never even heard of.
Yeah.
I mean, heard of, but you don't think as a contender. Like Danny Ings. Did you expect Danny Ings to almost win a Golden Boot but miss it on penalties?
Danny Ings.
Absolutely not.
Did you expect Nick Pope to win the gold? Wait, did he win again? Did Nick Pope win, right? Did you expect all these players to be so good that he didn't even heard of before?
No.
So I'm not going to predict a championship team who hasn't proven it in the Premier League yet to just go straight
Fair enough. That's absolutely fair enough. 14th, I put Crystal Palace.
But welcome to the Premier League.
Same places they did.
But Watford aren't there. So what did you say?
I think Crystal Palace for 14th. They're just going to stay where they are.
I actually put the same. I put Crystal Palace 14th as well.
I don't think there's any really way of explaining it. It's just that they're just going to. Average.
I have some things written down. So
Right.
I think Palace has been pretty inconsistent this season. At times they've looked really good. When they beat Bournemouth 2-0, they look pretty good. But they've been shambolic since that match. They've been awful. They've lost every single game since then, apart from the Spurs game, which they drew. The 4-0 loss against Liverpool. I know it's Liverpool, but the game could have gone 7-0. They got touched. They got destroyed. And they lost to Aston Villa 2-0 and Leicester City 3-0, which isn't really great because Leicester have been poor and Aston Villa aren't that great either. I mean, they have some good players like Guaita, he's pretty underrated. Zaha, he's a baller. Ayu's pretty good. Cahill's consistent. Townsend.
They've got very, very, very good players, but I think
I think
there's no real way of them getting higher than they are right now.
They got good players, but they're just a mid-table side. That's what
I know. They're not going to get relegated.
Yeah,
they're never going to get relegated.
Well, I didn't think Watford would get relegated at the start of the season.
I think Crystal Palace are too good for relegation, but not as good for top 10.
Yeah. I put. So.
13th, I put Burnley.
Fair enough.
Again, they are very, very up and down the table. Sometimes they do really amazing. Sometimes they do pretty average. They're not good. They're not bad enough to get relegated.
Yeah, for sure.
But I certainly wouldn't say they're a top 7 team. Even though they did get 7th place once, I think they're very up and down the table. Sometimes they get 10th, 13th, 8th, 10th,
Yes, in 13th, I actually put Sheffield United. I know it's a bit of a controversial one because Sheffield United have been really good this season. But they're losing their best keeper, Dean Henderson, to Man United. And he's been...
Yeah, I know, I agree.
He's made so many great saves for them that in goal I thought it might be a bit vulnerable. They got Verips, but who's Verips? I've never even heard of him. I mean maybe he can be really good, but I don't know, man. It's more than just the goalkeeper as well though. They finished 9th, right? I mean that's really good for them, but they could have got so much.
That's absolutely amazing, Daniel. You've got to remember.
Yeah, okay.
They voted this season. And they got 9th.
Yeah, everyone.
They could have. You know what? It's weird to say they could have got Champions League football.
Yeah, they could have, but they since the break they haven't been as good.
Imagine that. If the break didn't happen, they could have got Champions League football.
Yeah,
that would have been. I already think that Chris Wilder was Premier League manager of the season.
I mean, if you look at the stats though, they were really good at the start, but then overall they haven't been that great. They scored less than Bournemouth this season. And they got relegated. And they've lost the last 3 games, right? They lost to even Everton, who lost 3-1 to Bournemouth. They couldn't beat Villa. They lost 3-0 to Newcastle and Manchester United. Newcastle can't. You can beat Newcastle.
Sorry. You saw a video. Carry on. Yeah, is that it?
Awesome. It isn't great. But I think Chris Wilder, he's a brilliant manager.
Yeah.
Taking Sheffield from English Football League 1 to the Premier League, and they've had some really good wins, 3-0 with Chelsea, 3-1 against Spurs, 3-0 against Burnley, and more so, I think they'll comfortably be mid-table, but without Dean Henderson, and I think it's this season's kind of like a one-off for them. But I think they're still good enough to definitely stay up at least.
In 12th place, I put Southampton.
In 12th, I put West Ham.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'll back myself. Right? Clearly, they haven't had the best season. No, they almost got relegated. They went in a relegation scrap for most of the season. But they finished 16th with just 39 points. That isn't good. So you might think like, how could put them in 12th? Like they got so bad this season. But they got some really good, talented players. Like Mikel Antonio, what a baller! I think like without Mikel Antonio, they really could have gone down because he's been brilliant since the break. And they got like players they haven't really used, like Anderson. He hasn't used Anderson much. They got other really good players though. Like when they sign these players, they really help boost the team. Like Jared Bowen and then Souček, they've been really good, and they didn't have them at the start, And Declan Rice he's just getting better. Man. He's insane, but he might leave. But Ogbonna has been underrated. Like he's been really solid at the back. Like I think West Ham, they shouldn't be in relegation battle with the players they got.
West Ham should not be in the relegation battle at all.
Yeah, with the money they put in.
Team.
Exactly, with how big the club is, the money they put in, with the players they got, they should definitely be at least mid-table. And
I think the fans who are blaming the stadium are just stupid. Stop blaming a stadium for your losses. It's the same with Arsenal. We keep blaming the Emirates for our losses. No, I do not blame the Emirates. I blame the performances of the players, not the actual ground they play in.
Yeah, fair enough. And also, to be honest though, their form hasn't been too bad since the break. Since all this new play with the team set up, without a crowd, just straight up how good they are. They've been decent. Like they've scored 49 goals this whole season, which is 10th most of the league. That's all right. That's like mid-table, They can see 62 goals, which isn't as great. Oh, sorry, that's just a bit. And aside from an unlucky 1-0 defeat to Burnley, they have been undefeated in their last 7 games. Yeah. So that's pretty good. They beat Chelsea, and they beat Watford, and they smashed Norwich. Like that's mid-table quality,
Yeah. Right. 11th. We need to start hurrying up here.
Yeah.
11th place, Everton.
Fair enough.
What do you put?
In 11th place, I put Burnley.
For Everton, it's same with Burnley. They're kind of up and down. And I feel like it's going to be the same for this season.
Yeah, same, yeah. I thought like Burnley had been really good under Sean Dyche. Like Sean Dyche, he's a brilliant manager again. They finished 10th this season. To me, Burnley, they're like the definition of a mid-table team. Like they when I think mid-table team, I think Burnley. When I think average Premier League team, the average standard for Premier League team, that's basically
which is very good for them.
Yeah, they've actually had the least touches in the league this season, but they've been really clinical. When they have the chance, they take the chance. And they've been solid in the defense. And they scored despite having barely any touches, they scored 43 goals this season, and they kept 15 clean sheets. 15. The only team with more clean sheets this season is Man City. They've got second best clean sheets in the whole Premier League. That's pretty impressive from a team like Burnley. Their form has been all right. Like they ended Liverpool's perfect home record, which is pretty impressive. They beat West Ham, Norwich, Watford, and Palace. However, they don't really do good against big teams. Like when they play massive teams with massive quality, right? Like they just get destroyed. Like when they played Man City, right? They lost 5-0 right after restart, which isn't great. They also lost to Brighton the last day. So yeah, that wasn't great either. And they're not the most technical side, but they're a really good average mid-table Premier League team.
10th place, I put Leeds. I'm going to give you an explanation. They're going to be Sheffield United Part 2. Who have you put?
Oh, right. That's a good point. That's a good question. I actually put Everton in 10th. I don't know what to say. It's basically kind of what you said. Everton's kind of just the average team. They finished 12th this season with 49 points. All of their stats are basically average. The 12th most win in the season, 10th most losses, 11th most goals, 8th most goals conceded. They're just kind of average. So that's what I have to say. But the reason I put them higher than Burnley and like West Ham and all that is because they have really good, talented players like Theo Walcott, Tom Davies, Digne, Bernard, and Calvert-Lewin, and more of those. Like they got really good individual talent. They got really mixed bag of results. Like, they lost to Bournemouth 3-1, drew to Villa, and lost 3-0 to Wolves, which isn't great. Before, they had some good performances and results. They beat Leicester. They drew with Liverpool, which they should have won, actually, because they hit the post. Pretty lucky. Charleston. Calvert-Lewin. Tom Davies. Oh, it's a ball. And had double over Watford.
So,
Yes,
ninth, I have Sheffield United. I think that as much as I agree that if they do lose Ian Henderson, they're going to be a bit bad. But from what we've got from the squad right now, they are doing good. And I think that we need to remember that Sheffield United is actually a decent team, you know? They're not that bad. It's not like they got a one-season wonder. They're actually decent.
Yeah, I think they're decent, but I just see them as a mid-table team.
Really?
I mean,
No, you're wrong.
because since the break, they've basically been like that. Like, I think what made them do so well was also the fans, because they're kind of a smaller club. They're not like a massive club with all the best technical players in the world. They have good players, they're solid players, but they're just in an average season. I think they'll get back mid-table.
What's your...
In ninth, I have Southampton. There's one main reason why I have Southampton in ninth. Danny Ings. Danny Ings, I put them in 14th. I think Danny Ings is. I rate Danny Ings. I do rate Danny Ings. They ended the season with 11th with 52 points. They had a goal difference of -9 because they lost 9-0 against Leicester.
No, 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 no. Oh, he tried it.
From that stage, when they lost Leicester, they were really down. They were last place or something. They were all the way down. But when they came back strong, and they finished in 11th. That shows that the club has a strong mentality and a willingness to actually do well. A willingness, they're eager to get higher. They want to get the result.
I get that.
Get the result. And that's why I think they'll climb tonight. This season, they've had the 8th most wins, and they've hit the woodwork the 4th most time in the Prem. So I think they must have been unlucky even this season. So I think they're definitely they'll do. I think they'll do well next season.
Yeah.
But top 8, the quality of the team is just too strong.
So in 8th place, I decided to put Wolves.
Fair enough. I put Wolves as well, actually. So,
yeah. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We put Wolves together. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We agree on something.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's probably the same thing as you. They're a good team, and the thing is they're always going to be in the top 10. I think.
Yeah.
They're a top 10 team. And I'm sure you would agree.
They got some really good players, actually. Traore, Jimenez, Rui Patricio, Neves, Matinho. It's so many good players. And actually, the reason they didn't do so well this season was because so many draws. They just kept drawing. Because actually, they only lost 9 times, which is the same as Man City. They lost the same amount of times as Man City. But the reason it's so much lower is because draw after draw after draw, man. Just so many draws. In fact, they got 14 draws this season, the same as Arsenal, and 3 draws away from the record in the 38-game season. So a few more draws, and they could have set a new record, or 4 more draws. They've got some really good performances and results this season. They beat Spurs 3-2. They beat Everton.
Didn't they beat Man City?
Yeah, they got a double over Man City. They got a double, man. They beat them twice, a 2-0 and a 2-1, I think. But they've taken some big L's as well. In the final match day, they lost 2-0 to Chelsea, and before that, they lost 5-2, and then they lost 2-1 against a 10-man Watford, and lost to Sheffield at some point as well, which isn't great. So I see that's a good team, but not top 6.
In 7th place, Tottenham.
Fair enough.
What do you put?
I put Leicester City. I like Leicester City. I like Leicester. I want them to do well, but fair enough. But I just don't think they will.
All right, fair enough.
I mean,
I think the problem is with Tottenham is Jose Mourinho plays boring football. I think Jose Mourinho has already lost the dressing room. You can tell when you saw Lloris and Son fighting, you know something is wrong when 2 of your same players fight. End of. It's end of. It's literally that simple.
I mean, I don't think it was that big of a deal with that. It was just.
I think it is when you see 2 of the same players fighting, and they fighting like you see with opposition, using their fist and everything. I think.
Okay, well, let me say why I think Leicester will be 7th. They've had a good season, overall. But they could have got so much more. They were in second at one point. They were looking like being second. They botched the 3rd. They really looked like getting Champions League. And they bottled it on the last day to Manchester United.
Yeah.
You can't concede to Lingard. You cannot be conceding to Lingard. You just can't. I mean, it's Lingard. The only goal he scored all season was against Leicester. The only goal, and like the last kick of the game or something.
Well, an extraordinary season. Oh, and it's going to have an extraordinary ending. Genesis Lingard hasn't scored in the Premier League for a long, long time. And Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah.
They've also good players though, like Vardy, Söyüncü, Schmeichel. They're decent, but I don't even think they'll get a Europa League. Like I think they'll just no, because they'll bottle it again. They'll just bottle it again. That's what I think.
The top six, we're gonna show our top six, and then we're gonna have like 30 seconds to a minute to say why.
So like you can't lose to Bournemouth 4-1.
Huh?
That's what I'm saying about Leicester. You can't be losing to Bournemouth 4-1. Like
I know.
it's just poor. It's poor.
So my sixth place is Leicester.
Fair enough.
I think they've got good players, but the fact that they bottled it at the end of the season, and we've always said that the last stage of the season sort of carried on to the
Yeah, but
first.
I think if they get fans back, they'll do so much better.
We're getting fans back in October, but looking at what the government have said, they're doing local lockdowns now. I think the cases and deaths are rising. Going what Bojo has said, we might not get fans back in the stadium.
Like the whole season
Maybe not this year.
this year. Right, fair enough.
This year, so 2020.
In 6, I put Tottenham Hotspurs, and the reason I think they'll get Europa League is because Mourinho plays boring, park the bus football, but they get results. This season, they just got Europa League. At least they're in it. They're in it to win it. Mourinho does the job. He wins things. He does things.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they'll just clinch 6th place over Leicester, because Mourinho gets the job done. You know, they have some really good players, like Clinical Kane, Ice, Bergwijn, Messi, and Hugo Lloris. You know, they are 6 in many points as well. Like, they're 6 in goals, in touches. And surprisingly, though, they only have 9 clean sheets this season, which is the 5th worst in the league. But if you think about it, like, this table for Spurs was mainly Pochettino's doing. Mourinho has got better results than him in general. So if you had Mourinho the whole season, they would already do better. And they're ready now. I think they'll be 6th next season. The other teams, top 5, are just improving.
Who have you put as 5th?
You first.
No, I don't know what you put though.
I think you put the same thing. I don't know what you put. But
Yes,
it's,
tell me
cause I'm pretty sure I saw you. Yeah. I
then.
saw
Tell me then.
Okay. So in 5th, you're probably gonna hate me for this, but I put Chelsea.
Why would I hate you?
No, not you. As in, like, if someone's watching.
Oh, okay.
Like, Chelsea fans think they can win the league. I mean, maybe if you had a good defense. Your defense is not good. It's really not good.
Ball. Lusso turns across, and McGoldrick fires another one.
Because like,
I'm sure the FA Cup loss might have actually affected it.
yeah, like you got really good attacking players. Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, Tammy Abraham, Pulisic,
Werner.
right?
Werner.
Like Chelsea have got 69 goals.
Like
this season.
Wenger. Not Wenger. Wenger.
But still,
Werner.
like, they've got the 3rd most goals in the league. The thing that puts them down, right? They've conceded 54 goals, which is the 10th worst in the league. And they haven't been seen to be improving their defence.
I'll tell you a funny thing though.
They haven't signed defenders.
When Arsenal were going into the FA Cup final, all the Chelsea fans were like, "Oh my God, Arsenal are so positive. Oh my God, they're gonna think it seems like Baku all over again." No, it wasn't like Baku.
Yeah.
In my 4th place, I put Arsenal right off the bat. My favourite team, Aubameyang, and then Aubameyang's gonna sign. We're going to sign Willian. I don't really care about him. It's on a free transfer.
If Arsenal get like 18, we're going to be like clowns.
Oh, bless me. Partey. We're going to sign Partey.
Yeah, I mean, like, under Arteta, they've been really good. I can't lie. Like, they lost to Man City and Brighton at the start, but since then, they've beat Liverpool, they've beat Man City, they've beat Chelsea in the FA Cup. You know, one of the things before that people thought Arsenal wouldn't be good at is beating the big teams, because they weren't beating the big teams. They were losing to all the big teams. But then ever since Arteta came in, they've been beating the big teams. And I think that's what's so important. Like, Arteta's brought a good, solid defence back into their team. They seem to be really solid. And up front, they're looking menacing. They've got the same players like Aubameyang, Willian now, Pepe. Yeah. You know, there's those good players. I think it'll be close. I think between 4th and 5th, right, will be really, really close. Like, whoever gets the last Champions League spot, they'll be tight. Like, I think 1 point in it, a few points in it.
I'm getting a call. I'm going to text it back. The 3rd place will start wrapping after. Third place, Man City.
I see. Okay.
Do you agree?
No, I don't agree. I put Man United in fifth and third. Sorry.
Huh?
Okay. Calm. Right. They've been good in the restart. Right. They're currently at the top of the form table and have some insane players. They got Phil Jones, Andreas Pereira, Lingardinho.
Oh my gosh. Submit these bare people! I'm panicking! We've got obviously the jailing stuff here. It's all the jailing side.
He scored. No, listen, right? He scored more Premier League goals this season than Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, Pele, Ronaldinho, Maradona combined. And Lingard scored more. Like, he's a future prospect. He's going to win the Ballon d'Or in the next 20 years. Like, it's a fact. It's like, Mbappe who? Sancho who? I don't know where they are. But Lingardinho, man. Like, they have been undefeated in their last 14 games. They've picked up a massive result over City, a double over City. They beat Leicester to get Champions League. They beat Sheffield United 3-0, Watford 3-0, and even Spurs 2-1. Their stats have been impressive. Fourth most wins this season. They have 18 of those. Fifth most goals with 66. Fourth most clean sheets with 13. And the third least goals conceded. The stats can't even lie. But let's be real. Like, it's Man United. I don't think they're better than Liverpool City, like, in my opinion.
For me, I put Man City. I'm not a good City, and they're not going to win the league in the next couple of seasons, in the next 5 seasons, because Liverpool are going to probably do it all the time. In second place, I put Man United. For the same reasons as you put Man United, so not the Lingard bit, but the Martial, Greenwood, and Rashford. Greenwood, massive prospect. So Rashford.
Second after Man City, you know. The stats are actually, we always say, like, we're saying like the Man City haven't been that great, but if you look at the stats, they're insane. They only have 81 points, but they've scored the most goals. They've scored 102 goals, hit the woodwork 27 times, which is the most in the league. The most clean sheets in the league was 17, and the most touches with 33,242. This includes big results like the 4-0 win against Liverpool, 8-0 over my team Watford here, 5-0 over West Ham, 4-0 over Brighton, and 2 3-0 wins over Arsenal. Like, the reason I put them second is because they were quite far from Liverpool this season. Because you don't win the league from goal difference. You don't win the league from stats. You win the league from points. Liverpool were like 17 points above them. But so I'm saying, like, you don't win the league from scoring 10 goals a game against a random team. You win it by getting the most points. You don't.
Fair enough.
Because they can thrash small teams, right? If they get into like a small team, they're either going to bostle it or they're going to thrash them. And that's why they're so good.
In first place,
yeah,
both of us, we put Liverpool.
Yeah.
There's no real need for an explanation. I'm not going to lie. Because, and we don't need to listen to one of Daniel's essays about Liverpool, because we can just say it as this. Their whole squad is fire. Their whole squad is, and that's that. You know? Huh?
I said Watford 3-0.
Score prediction.
Watford 3-0.
Oh,
Okay, I'm very happy about that. But you can see they're unstoppable. Overall, they are unstoppable. Of course, we beat them. Ha ha ha. But overall, they are unstoppable. If Daniel wants to add something, that's fair enough. I don't know why he would, because I think I've said everything he was going to say.
I just want to say they bottled 100 points because they lost to us. Sorry, that's what I have to say. So yeah, Golden Boot now, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot that. Pierre, Danny, Anthony, Marcus.
So I put in the contenders. I put Danny Ings, Aubameyang, Martial, and Timo Werner.
Oh yeah, Timo Werner. Timo Werner.
It's Werner. I swear it's Werner.
It's Werner. It's pronounced Werner. It's spelt Werner, but it's said Werner.
But my other club is Dortmund. I know how to say his name.
I couldn't care less what club you're at. For example, Arsene Wenger. Did you say Arsene Wenger?
Yeah.
Exactly, because you're clearly stupid.
I mean, okay.
I forgot Timo Werner was going into the Premier League.
Okay, well, who do you think's going to win it though?
Pierre.
Fair enough. I think Pierre's a really
Best player in the world.
best player. No, that's obviously Troy Deeney. Thank you for watching Black and Yellow Fan TV here. If you want more waffle, you want more Watford content, you want more Dortmund content, merch not in the description. Please subscribe.
You got merch?
No, I don't have merch. I said it's merch not in the description.
Oh.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So please dislike. Please comment something retarded. Like, I'm the best Black and Yellow Fan TV there is. I'm also the worst.
Fan TV.
If you want to move away from the West Ham Fan TV, you want to join the Black and Yellow gang, then
and check out my Instagram.
Links will be in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll press. Wait. Okay, I'm sorry. What do you want?
Wait. Follow my Twitter at Mason_MJ for conservative stuff, politics, and follow my Instagram account the_British_conservative for conservative content.
So have a good day and peace out.